A very good morning, one and all. A warm welcome to one and all present here for this 50th webinar of ASBM University. ASBM has been established in 2006, founded and led by Professor Viswajit Patnaik, a distinguished academician and a well-known management guru. This institution constantly works on setting the best standard in imparting value-based quality education that builds leadership. And considering its excellence, university status has been conferred on it by Government of India. With great honor and pleasure, I would like to welcome our beloved President, Dr. Viswajit Patnaik, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Kalyan Sankar Ray, Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Falgu Niranjana, and our two esteemed resource persons for today's webinar, Dr. A. Velangini Joseph and Mr. Sabyasachi Das, and Dean's School of Accountancy, School of Business, School of Law, dear faculty members, dear participants, and my students. First of all, I would like to congratulate our ASBM faculty members for successful completion of 49 webinars. And now, today, I'm very happy to be a moderator of 50th webinar titled Digital Transformation in Financial Services. Now, we all live in digital era. Digital transformation is the buzzword of every industry. It is the need of the hour. And over past 5 years, this digital transformation has changed the various landscapes of financial institutions and various advanced technological advancement which leads to these financial institutions are able to maximize the customer efficiency, and they are, on the other side, they are able to increase their operational efficiency and productivity in terms of regulations and compliances. ERP, that is Enterprise Resource Planning, plays a vital role, and it has got a very huge potential to set these financial institutions onto the journey of digital transformation. Now, all these emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, big data, blockchain, cloud computing, all have got integrated with ERP, and it is giving much more benefits to the end users and service providers. By leveraging the investment in technology, financial institutions are able to maximize their potential in terms of outreach and sustainability, and they have also got a huge potential to reach the underprivileged people who are excluded from the formal financial system. Through these transformations, financial service industries are able to attain their maximum potential in terms of outreach and sustainability, and they are able to give maximum benefits to the users, service providers, government, and economy at large. But yet, financial institutions are not completely saturated into the vast segment of a population which shows an existing gap between the availability of finance and its accessibility. Though there are many positive consequences, there are various issues and challenges also do exist because of digital transformation. And the purpose of this webinar is to discuss how digital transformation takes place in financial services and the issues and challenges with relation to this. So our first speaker, Mr. Sabyasachi Das, is going to talk on how digital transformation is taking place with the help of SAP and ERP, and he is talking from the service provider's viewpoint. And our second speaker, Dr. A. Velangini Joseph, is going to talk about the output of digital transformation, that is digital finance, from the user's perspective. So it gives me immense pleasure to introduce our resource persons for today's webinar, Mr. Sabyasachi Das and Dr. A. Velangini Joseph. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Mr. Sabyasachi Das. He is working as a senior SAP and FICO consultant at Capgemini, Bangalore, and he has got 14 years of rich experience in accounting, finance and IT with reputed companies. His expertise lies in lifecycle SAP implementation that includes configuration, integration of FICO with go live and readiness, post go live support, and he works as a finance expert in various phases of project environments and project implementation. And Dr. A. Velangini Joseph, Professor, Head of the Department and Chairperson of Youth Welfare Studies, School of Youth Empowerment, MKU, Madurai, Tamil Nadu. He has got 23 years of rich experience in academics and research. He has produced 18 PhDs and 5 in progress. He has published 39 research papers and in national and international journals, and he has presented many papers in international conferences, and he held various administrative positions such as coordinator of various of Anna Civil Services, Journal Coordinator of YRC Madurai, Director Swami Vivekananda Higher Education Research Center, Member of Senate and Academic Council MKU, Principal Investigator, District Human Development and State Planning Commission, Government of Tamil Nadu. I welcome you both, sir. Now I request Mr. Sabyasachi Das to take up the session.
Thank you, Mohini. Give me the immense opportunity to speak in front of all the peoples. Let me introduce myself. Mohini already given my introduction, but I giving my introduction for myself. This is Sabyasachi Das, and I'm basically from Balasore, Odisha. I did my master's in MBA from Procurement University, and I have overall working experience in IT and the accounts and IT, and out of that 9 years of SAP experience in IT sectors in the Capgemini, Accenture and other companies. So in the real-time world, when we working in different sectors, either in terms of the any of the business environments, either it is small, large and multinational companies, in every phase of the companies, we need at least any of the business growth or business environment. For that, we need at least one record keeping softwares. For the record keeping softwares, we use different products. There's Oracle, SAP, JD Edwards, Tally, and other things. Even we can maintain in Excel also. But when in terms of the business requirement to go for a new type of business process or new business opportunity, every new business opportunity comes there new challenges, and for that new challenges we have to overcome our problems with the better planning and resolutions. For that, we need at least a good software which can maintain our day-to-day business process and give the detailed records of the past records, and which will be legally valid at the any point of time when we do a tax returns or shareholding returns. For that, we use the SAP software, which is part of ERP. So ERP is just like a enterprise resource planning, where we evaluate our entire business process under the ERP, and we map our each of the business process, day-to-day business process from the top to bottom in one of the SAP software. There we map day-to-day business process with respect to the business which they are following a day-to-day basis, just like your finance, accounts, your treasury, sales, materials, procurements, or productions, or any of the HR related processes, just recruitment, joining, time roll, payrolls, or any of the other business process. For that, we need at least a software which can manage all the transaction in under one roof. That is called the ERP. So if you go with the different products, every product has their standalone application, which is maintaining accounting in one side, sales in another side, or materials in another side. But when case of SAP comes, it contains all the business processes in under one roof. That is called the SAP R3 software or HANA software. So with these applications, uh, we can map all the business requirement of any of the clients, just like a small scale traders or a small scale manufacturing industry or SME, small scale MSME industries, or any multinational industries, just like huge plants, 2 to 3 plants, and integration of the 2 to 3 plants with the all over the traders and their business partners. We go for a software which can manage our day-to-day transaction or the customer related transaction, government related transaction, payment related transaction under one single roof. For that, we going for a software which is called SAP R3 or SAP HANA. So this is when in 2011 SAP comes up with a new product, SAP HANA, which will be enhanced performance, enhanced business requirement mapping, and it has the opportunity to any of the third-party software which can be integrated to SAP. So previously, it does not allow to directly integrate between the SAP and third-party, but rather than we use the tool to migrate our data to SAP without SAP. So now from the HANA onwards, we can real-time replication of the data. Your artificial intelligence can be implemented, machine learning can be implemented. Every opportunity is given in SAP to maximize the business performance with help of SAP. So I prepared small slides just for your easy understanding. Let me share my content. Please let me know you are able to see my screen.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, so today's topic is how digital transformation of financial data by using ERP implementation. So I already given you what is SAP. SAP stands for system application and data processing. System application and products in data processing. This is the stands for SAP. So as we already know that it is developed by the 5 of the IBM ex-IBM employees in 1972 at Waldorf, Germany. So when it is initially started, it is just like a software which is giving the in-house related transaction, just like in the means a head office related type transaction, but it does not have the functionality to head office and branch levels also. So when the SAP comes up with the different type of different, so they initially develop a already know that presentation layer is the layer where you can show all your business transactions, or just like sales accounts, all your materials. So you can enter your business transaction or view the business transaction. Same way, application layer is just like a program which will execute in the background to show a data, receive a data, or process a data. Just like a program which will interpret the data based on our inputs. Whereas the database layer, it contains all the data which we already enter in our system. Either it is a accounts related entry, it is a finance related entry, or sales related entry, material related entry, or payroll related entry. Every data need to be stored in the database. So SAP comes up with the three-tier architecture when they develop these applications. So SAP given an opportunity to single source of truth. That means when the data save in the system, it cannot be changed by any unauthorized people without any or it cannot be accessed by any outsider people or any unauthorized people in the organization until unless you have the access for any changes or creation. So that is the much uh, much higher rate of accuracy or much rate of your what you can call that secrecy inside the SAP software, so that cannot be manipulated or compromised. So this will help with the business and the your government agencies or the shareholders to to get the exact data from the SAP system. Okay, so this is when it is implemented. They implemented with R3 software. Now, when the time passes of in 1972, they developed the R1 software, and they in the subsequent development they introduced the 1979 R2 software that is part of mainframe. So we already know what is mainframe. It is just like a set of servers which host the all the applications or the database inside the system. So in the when R2 is implemented from the R2 79 onwards, the all the new customers are added, means the real-time customers are added to the SAP to maintain their ERP systems. In the 1992, they introduced the R3 software. So R3 is the most popular and uh, most clients using the R3 in the 1992 when the software industry is booming phase. So to systematically recording all the transactions, they use the R3 software to maintain all their business process. That includes your sales, means account, sales, material, procurement, and HR related activities. So whenever you see any old clients, just like your any multinational client, they're still using the R3 because it is has the more flexibility to their business environment when they start their operation. So uh, but by the time it changes, we all know that World Wide Web comes, means your www. The double culture is started. So that time when SAP upgraded, they introduced the My ERP system, where they introduced the SAP through a link. So previously it is a standard application in your server, which can be accessed through the desktop or laptop, but that cannot be accessed through a website. But when the SAP found that this is the demerit which we have to overcome, they introduced the My SAP software, which contains the flexibility to use the business transaction in the mobile. Mobile comes later. In 2000, it give the flexibility to open the SAP in anywhere of the anywhere in the office or home or any part of the country. So it has the option to giving the data in any of the environments, just like your laptop, desktops, in any part of the offices or homes through a web link. So when this development started, I mean, new development started in 2004, it comes up with ERP that is called ECC ERP. So this is another successful product after R3. After R3, ERP is the most successful product of the SAP. So when the ERP structure comes up, it comes with the new business functionality, new modules, new one new business processes of the legal business process, and different countries are included with their legal business process, just like your Brazil, your Japan, China, India. So all new business processes are coming up in the SAP. which give the SAP leading advantage in the ERP market. So when 2000 ERP is launched after few years, means after 10 years, so they introduce a new business, I mean, new software that is called HANA software. So previously you all know that the applications are always stored in the servers, but that has to be physically stored in your office premises, or you have to hire a servers. But that give the business a huge cost for the maintenance of the servers and physical assets. So to overcome that they introduced the HANA. So when the HANA comes, it comes up with a set of new business processes and new infrastructure processes. So from R2 to R1 to ERP, that is a specific to a business process where we have a dependent means independent business independent infrastructure. But when the HANA comes, it is a dependent infrastructure. So if you go with the little inside it, you should have the HANA database. You should have a S4 functionality, S4 for module functionality inside the HANA, and you should have a specific kernel, so Linux kernel in the HANA, so which will help the business client to minimize their IT landscape to one. So HANA has the capability to integrate all their environment to in one database. So let's suppose they maintain their HR related data one system, sales related data one system, and accounts related data another system, just like your SAP. So for another country, they're using different ERP software. For well, let's suppose India, we use SAP. Let's say some Middle East countries, they have some small operation. They have using small ERP software. So that data can be integrated to SAP. That is the most successful product of the SAP, and it has give the opportunity to in-memory computing. So previously, how the data are calculated, we have a specific set of data in our servers, which can be accessed through a command to calculate and show the data. But in in-memory calculation, in-memory computing, it has the opportunity to store the data in the RAM. So RAM already know that it is the physical memory which will help to process our day-to-day data in the SAP system. So when the SAP starting from the today, it has the every time it give the new business functionality, new technology inside the SAP environment. So how SAP gives the wide range of solution in the different type of business environment. That includes your finance, your CRM, customer relationship management, customer experience, just like your customer services or customer feedbacks, your networks, means the physical servers and networking sites, means your data centers or all the things, spend management, just like your day-to-day business expenses, just like your credit card expenses or your HR spendings, your digital supply chain. So whenever you move a product from one plant to another plant or plant to sales location, so that can be monitored real-time basis, or that can be generated with the proper invoice, tax invoices or the invoices. Digital supply chain can be done. HR and people management. So every employee, every company has their own set of HR team which contains their recruitment, time management, salary process, and relieving process. That includes all the business related HRs, means business process within the HR. So and business technology platform. So we can access the data in the mobile also in the now in the new environment. the SAP has the opportunity to access the data from the mobile apps or the URL through the website. We can access it. And digital transformation, just like your artificial intelligence, machine learning, Leonardo, or any of the big data analysis, just like huge number of sales data, your purchase data, or the accounts related data that can be analyzed with digital transformations. And it has the opportunity to give the small sector, just like your traders, little MSME plants, or the any service related activities that can be also implement the SAP software. That is the industry solutions given the SAP. So I'll just give a little introduction related to functional module and technical modules within the SAP. So these are the inside the SAP where the day-to-day works are done. So if you go with the different other softwares, they did not give the all the business functionality related to business, but they will be using standalone software for one type of the business, whereas SAP give the vast range of business processes in the SAP in under one roof. So and it is both are interconnected. It can be finance can be interconnected with the sales. It can be interconnected with the materials and HR. So that is the flexibility of the SAP ERP. So in the functional module side, finance, all the accounts related activities, controlling your management related activities, your production, how many quantity production has been done, what is the percentage of margin, and what is the percentage of sales overall years. So we can calculate from the controlling module. TRM, it is a module where all the finance related activities, long-term investment, long-term borrowings, all your commercial papers, all the related treasury related stuffs are included in TRM. In-house case is a centralized payment. Let's suppose we have a 10 company code, 10 businesses where we want to implement SAP, and payments would be done in one roof. Then we can implement the in-house case and simultaneously project system. Just like if you see any of the metro projects or bridge projects or any of the highway projects, they want to monitor the expenses or the day-to-day expenses which are incurred in the system. For that, they are using the PS module, which will be help to budget, planning budget, and the recording of the expenses. In the same way, we have the opportunity for sales and distribution, just like your sales related activities. Logistics means the transportation related activities, customer relationship management, customer services, your material management, just like your procurement of material, movement of material, warehouse management, which warehouse contains which products, and how we will move the things from one system to another warehouse. Extended warehouse management, we can access all the application through the mobile app. That's part of ERM. Supply relationship management, where we maintain all the suppliers in the SRM, and product life cycle management. Apart from that, production planning, QM, PM, and FPO, BPC, and the end of the day, HR processes, SCM process, human capital management, success factors, all are part of the HR related activities. The same way, we have the technical modules also, which will help us to use the SAP application in the background. So few of the modules I am saying, basis which maintains the our landscape. Above will be the programming side. Security will be give the access, workflow, SAP BI, BX, business intelligence, business exchange infrastructure, PI, link between the different application, third-party application. Fiori will be the very beautiful product, which will give you the opportunity to access your data in mobile, your laptop, and any of the business. You can, even if you can access your SAP from the mobile also. Okay, so same way analytics, I already told you that analytics has given the big opportunity in the real time to predict any of the predict and take a decision of the analytics and machine learning, obviously, and nowadays, which is very useful to predict the data through the machine learning. And Leonardo, one of the artificial intelligence tools, which will help the business to map the business requirement to the SAP. And simultaneously, some of the other technical models also available. So I'm going to next slide. So I already told you that the recent software is the SAP HANA software. So this is the architecture of the HANA. So it can be give you the better opportunity to leverage our systems, our landscape to the business requirement with help of the HANA DB. So in the left hand side, you will see the HANA overview, how the real-time HANA is working in the system, your presentation layer, your mobile data, your mobile access, your laptop access, which can be converted to data to the application layer, and finally it can be stored in the HANA DB, and it has the give the immense opportunity to in-memory calculation, which will be giving the result within fraction of seconds. So if you want to do analytics, if you want to do a forecasting or do a consolidation of the data, it can be give you data of, let's suppose, your 10-year data, 20-year data, or the industry related transactions, just like your automobile related transaction of the last 10 years data of 50 countries or 60 countries. So it has the capability to calculate the data in the small time, within the small time. Just like previously, it will take the huge number of data to give the result. So that is the opportunity in the in-memory computing engine, which will give the very good and accurate data to meet our business requirements. So to take decisions whether we can go for investment or whether we can acquire any business process, all the things we can do in-memory calculations. So it is much part of the technical side. I'm just giving a presentation point of view I'm showing here. Now, how the SAP is implemented in the organization. So everybody knows that it is a IT software which needs the proper process through which we can implement the SAP. So when any business approach, any small scale or large scale industry or business houses approach the SAP, they initially go for a project preparation. So whether we can go for implementing the SAP in the system. So we can collect few of the information like which type of industry, whether it is a trading industry or it is a manufacturing industry or it is a export import industry or it is a service related industry, just like your hotels, your restaurants, hotels, and any of the just like your catering related services or the organization related services, which type of services, either it is an insurance company or it is a banking company or which type of industry that belongs to. So based on that, we come to know that whether we have already implemented any of the products in the with their peers. So that will help us to understand the business processes. So previously SAP has the drawbacks to implement only in the manufacturing concern, trading concerns. Later they introduced the new softwares to implement in the like this service sector, banks, insurance companies. Even if you are wondering that Odisha government also implemented the SAP for distribution of rice to the common people, which is accessing through your rations. So that is also implemented by the SAP. So initially we collect all the information related to the business, how the business is doing their day-to-day activities through that entire process will be through the entire process will be part of the SAP phases, that is called SAP methodology, where we do a project preparation. With day-to-day business process can be recorded in the project preparation phases. What is, when it is started, what is the business they are doing, what type of activities, day-to-day activities they are doing, what is the return they are filing, when it is filed, all the things, all the information collected. Then we convert the same data to our SAP related business process. That is called the business blueprint process. Once the blueprint is done, means what need to be done, just like your layout, and then we start our construction of the house. Same way, once the blueprint is done, then we start the mapping of the business and business process in the SAP. Once everything is done, we will do for a testing whether the business application is do give a better result after the migration of the legacy system to the SAP. Then we'll do, if everything is fine, then we'll do for a final preparation. So in the final preparation, what are the recurring balances in the old system, or recurring transactions they are doing? We have to transport those data to the our new system. Once everything is done, we'll give a cutoff date where we're going to leave the old system and start the new system. That is called the go live and support. So as we know that whenever we move to the new home or new room, every that time all the final preparation will be done to start the operation. So we have to leave all the system and access the new system. That will be part of go live. So as soon as we go to the new room or new house, every months for certain period of time we face the issue. That will be part of go live and support. So day-to-day issues need to be resolved, and then if any anything which is not correctly working, then we can do a continuous improvement. Through this, we can entirely manage the SAP implementers. That is the old approach called SAP phases. Now, when the new software comes, that is HANA, SAP comes up with the SAP Activate Phases. So it has the same type of business process, business phases, where we use this in SAP phases. So here we start with discovery phases, whether we collect the requirements, and after that prepare phases, we prepare the blueprint phases and explore. In the explore phases, we do the give a detail prepare and give a proof of concept phases like in explore phases. Finally, if business is satisfied of proof of concept, finally we do a final mapping of the final map of the business process in the HANA system. Once the realization is done, then we deploy. Means we'll give the data to the business, whether they will validate the data, whether it is working fine or not. Once business give the confirmation, finally we're going to run the means what it called start using the HANA system. That is called run. So this is the same cycle we are using previously. So this new process is called SAP Activate methodology. Build smart, run simple. So all the business processes will be under one roof, and it has the opportunity to in-memory calculation, removing the duplicate data, duplicate efforts to do the things, and it can give the it can store all the information in one table and access by the many business processes. Okay, now if I go to the more on the active phases, these are the steps we are following here: discover, prepare, explore, realize, deploy, and run. So in this step-by-step process, we're going to do the implementation. That can be either a cement industry, that can be a steel industry, that can be a chemical industry, that can be a FMCG products or the consumer durable products, or any of the traders, it's a banking, insurance company. All the industry will go through this type of active methodology where we map the business transaction to start using of the business transactions. So under this process, the data are flown from the one system to legacy system to the SAP, and we're going to start our business processes. Okay, so I'm just give a little introduction how the SAP is working and how we can implement the data. So based on the business processes, it can be implemented based on our requirement. So these are the functional modules. This can be used based on the business processes. So if this small trading company, then it is a you can use accounts means finance, as sales and materials. 3 to 4 can be used. If it is a more large scale industry, we can implement many more modules based on their business requirement. Let's suppose Government of India, they have a very huge number of warehouses where they store the rice, paddies and all the things. For them, we can give the material management, warehouse management, extended warehouse management. This type of business, based on the business process, we can implement the different modules in the different business processes and different modules in the SAP. So this will give the better opportunity to maximize their business. By this, I'm concluding here. Thank you. And if you have any doubt, you can ask me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the enlightenment and insightful information into ERP implementation in how digital transformation usually takes place in financial services. I request all the participants to post their questions in the chat box. At the end of the session, we are going to have a question and answer session. Again, I would like to request all the participants to post their questions in the chat box. Now, I request Dr. A. Velangini Joseph to take up the session.
Thank you, Madam. On the outset, I thank the Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Head of the Department, and other officials of ASBM University, and especially I thank Sai Mohini Madam and Rituparna and other department faculty members of the department who invited me to participate in this webinar. One second, madam. And the resource person, Dr. Mr. Das Sabiachi, has explained the technical aspects of the seminar, and I'm going to cover the other part of this webinar regarding the application side. That means how this digital finance takes place in the real world and how the people are getting benefited out of this digital finance and other aspects. The digital finance, as already Sir explained, the financial services delivered through mobile phones, personal computers, the internet, or cards linked to a reliable digital payment system. And today, according to the World Bank survey report, more than 50% of the people from the developing countries, they are using mobile phones, and especially they are using the Android mobile phones, which will be enable the customer to get a services, financial services via digital platform through their mobile. The main goal of financial digital finance is made available via digital platform is to contribute to poverty reduction and to contribute to the financial inclusion objectives of the developing economy. There are three components of the digital financial services. One is a digital transactional platform, which enable the customer to use a device to make or receive payments and transfer to store the value electronically with a bank or non-bank permitted to store electronic values. The second component of the digital finance is retail agent. They are armed with a digital device connected to communication infrastructure to transmit and receive transaction details, enable customers to convert cash into electronically stored value, and to transform stored value back into cash. As our traditional banks, what they are doing is the digital platform enable the customer to execute the same functions in the digital finance. The third component of the digital finance is the customer service. It can be a digital by using mobile phone. That means of transmitting data and information or a instrument, that is payment card, that connect to a digital device. To use the digital finance services, the user will have an existing bank account which they own, or they may have the third party account with approval to use their accounts, and should have available funds. Sometimes they may have the overdraft in their accounts to make a cash payment or to receive revenue via digital platform, including mobile device, personal computers, and other internet devices. The digital finance has some benefits. For instance, digital finance can lead to greater financial inclusion, expansion of financial services to non-financial sectors, and the expansion of basic services to individuals, since nearly 50% of people in the developing world already own a mobile phone. The digital finance has potential to provide affordable, convenient, and secure banking services to poor individuals in developing countries, and recent improvement in accessibility and affordability of digital financial services around the world can help millions of people move, especially poor people, move from cash-based transaction to formal digital financial transaction on secured platform. The digital finance promises to boost GDP, that is gross domestic product, of digitized economics by providing convenient access to diverse range of financial product and services for individual as well as small, medium, and large businesses, which can boost aggregate expenditure, thereby improving GDP level. The digital finance can also lead to greater economic stability to increase financial intermediation, both for customer and for economy where they and their families reside. The digital finance also benefits government by providing a platform to facilitate increase in aggregate expenditure, which subsequently generate higher tax revenue arising from increase in the value of financial transactions. Digital finance has benefit to financial and monetary system regulators because full-scale digital finance adoption can significantly reduce the circulation of fake money. The other benefits of digital finance to customer includes greater control of customers, personal finance, quick financial decision making, and ability to make receive payments with secured platform. And the digital finance inclusion is there recently. Everybody should have a bank account. And before introducing the concept of financial inclusion, majority of the poor people in the rural India have not connected with the banking system of the country, and the government has taken a lot of effort, especially after 2014. They have insisted and compelled people to have a banking facility in the country. The digital financial inclusion has digital access and the use of formal financial services by the excluded or underserved population, especially the rural people. Currently, innovative digital financial services via mobile phones and similar devices has been launched in at least 18 countries to encourage millions of poor customers to exclusively use digital financial services rather than cash-based transactions, especially after the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic situations. Everybody applying or everybody accessing the digital financial system in worldwide. The Government of India introduced the Jan Dhan Yojana scheme to connect the unbanked people to the banking system, that is main stream of the banks. And the World Bank and IMF appreciated that more than 55% of new bank accounts opened globally between 2014 and 17, and especially in India, they have achieved nearly 34.03 crores of Jan Dhan Yojana account during that period. The process of digital financial inclusion begins with the assumption that excluded or underserved population have some sort of formal bank accounts and need digital access to enable them to carry out basic financial transaction remotely. The digital financial inclusion promises to help bankers lower cost by reducing queuing lines in banking halls, reduce manual paperwork and documentation, and to maintain fewer bank branches. With digital financial inclusion, large number of depositors can easily switch banks within the minutes, forcing banks to provide quality services or risk-classing depositors to rival banks. The another benefit of this digital finance is the monetary system regulators, that is digital financial inclusion, also help to reduce the amount of physical cash in circulation and is instrumental in reducing high inflation level in developing and poor countries. Digital financial inclusion can improve welfare of individuals and businesses that have a reliable digital platform with which to access funds in their bank's accounts to carry out the financial transaction. And the financial technology, as already Mr. Das Sabayachi has explained the technical aspects of the digital finance or the digital transformation aspects. So the digital finance is only enabled by using the financial technology. The financial technology is provided by the private parties, almost all the banks in India. They define as delivery of financial and banking services through modern technology, innovation, lead by computer programs and algorithms. An individual or company that uses a technology platform, whether online or offline, to provide new financial services or to improve delivery of existing financial services. The financial technology providers can partner with the traditional lending institution, that is banks, which can help them to reduce the operational cost and improve the quality of their intermediation activities. Partnering with the traditional lending institution can help the financial technology providers become substantial over time, and the financial technology of fintech providers can add value to the activities of the traditional lending institutions they partner with, particularly in process improvement for their online lending business. There is a potential for technology to provide convenience. The financial technology providers that operate via online platform can electronically provide increased convenience to users by providing access to such services and make it available always from any location where the user or consumer can access the internet. This enables financial technology providers to help customers to avoid having to travel to a bank hall and to undertake financial transactions. And moreover, anytime, anywhere, yeah, any amount can be have a transaction with this financial technology platforms. Though the financial technology platform provide so many facilities and which will help the economy, individual, bankers, and other stakeholders, but it has its own limitations and issues. The greater digital finance, when applied to lives of low-income poor people, can improve their access to basic services, thereby leading greater financial inclusion in rural area. The greater digital financial services channeled to rural and poor communities can improve access for bank customers in rural and poor communities who cannot conveniently access banks located in the farmer sector due to poor transportation network and long queue hour in banking halls, and will reduce banking customer presence in bank branches and reduce the cost because bank would cost efficiently maintain these kind of services would have positive effect on profitability and financial inclusion. But on the other hand, the poor people, especially the rural people, sometimes they may not have sufficient knowledge to operate in this digital platform. Easy to use digital finance can provide more convenient platform to individual to carry out the financial transaction, include payment for electricity, water supply, money transfer, and family friends. For low income and poor users, the digital finance, because of digital finance users in indigenous and poor communities, they have some they refuse to use the digital finance services due to super situations and religious beliefs they have about technology advancement and innovation. Sometimes the fees charged by the digital finance providers is sometimes unaffordable. According to the recent survey of recent report of Reserve Bank of India, more than 34% of the profit of the banks have mobilized only through the fees and charges charged by the banks on their customers for their digital platform. Providers of digital finance services are profit seeking. Always, it's a corporate, they expect some profit and they expect maximum profit by using the digital finance. To maximize the profitability opportunities of business with digital finance providers, namely banks and finance institutions, they will charge some higher amount that is hidden charges, which sometimes may not known by the customers. The corporate providers of digital finance can discriminate by more aggressive marketing tactics to pursue high and middle income customers to use new or existing digital finance platform or infrastructure, and use less aggressive marketing tactics to pursue low income and poor customers to use new or existing digital platform or infrastructure if they believe that later cannot afford and the associated fees, thereby leading to lower financial inclusion for poor and low income customers. Since the net monetary payoff to digital finance providers is higher with high-end and middle income customers. That means the digital finance providers, they are offering more facilities to the higher income or middle income people because they frequently use the digital finance platform, and the same benefit will not be extended to the low income people or the poor customers which resides in the rural area. The bias in the provisions of digital finance can be geographically because of digital finance providers based on their own internal risk assessment, which may change from time to time, can choose to withdraw or discontinue the provision of specific digital finance services to high risk rural areas or communities that do not have supporting infrastructure to sustain specific digital financial services, thereby leading to lower financial inclusion. Some supporting infrastructure needed to make digital finance services work efficiently may include mobile phones that have modern and up-to-date operating software system and applications that support digital financial services. Today in India, there are so many digital finance providers have emerged in the market, and the people are may not know about the platform, and they should have a updated softwares in their mobile phone so that it will be enabled to use the digital financial services. The educational bias can be introduced in the provision of digital financial services if the net monetary value of providing financial services to poor communities is very low, because of no banks come forward to educate the people to enlighten their knowledge to the use of digital financial system in the mobile system. Individuals in the informal sector and in poor communities often do not trust bankers or bank markets who come to their homes to persuade them to use digital financial services. Rather, they are more likely to trust the recommendation they receive friends and family members who already use of the digital finance platform. And moreover, so many theft and hackers, they misuse the poor communities who have not have the basic digital financial service ideas. They will be cheated, and sometimes it will be a headache for them to recover their lost money. The excluded population do not wish to participate in the financial data inclusion by refusing to have online banking system or other formal digital access credential. They will not be able to use digital channels to carry out the basic financial services, thereby reducing financial inclusion. Even in the Jantan Yojana, the rumor around the rural people that if you have bank accounts, then only you can get the financial benefits, that especially the subsidies and other benefits from the government. It will be transmitted only to the banks. Then for that one, that compulsion only, the people come forward to have a formal banking accounts with the banks, and they are not ready to have a digital financial banking system because of lack of understanding, lack of knowledge, and other barriers behind the poor communities. The consumers may have digital banking credential to access digital financial system. Consumers in many emerging markets are not active users of digital channels due to lack of consumer trust and confidence in the new channels. Especially in India, majority of the people, only the youngsters, if you conduct a survey, age-based survey, only the youngsters and educated people, they come forward to have a digital banking services, and the others, due to lack of trust in digital financial channels and a negative effect of digital finance, lead to financial benefits in the developing countries that will be hinder the digital financial system in the developing countries. The low level financial literacy and low awareness of digital financial channels can reduce the customer patterns of digital financial channels to perform basic financial platforms. The implication is that individuals with low income and those who are worried about the state of their personal finance will have little incentive to use digital channels. They sometimes they do not understand the concept. They do not have financial literacy to understand how it works, and sometimes if they are unaware of existing digital financial infrastructure facilities. The regulatory concern, that is data security, is concerned. The wide use of technology has increased the pervasiveness and the scale of cyber attack that pose significant threat to a security and privacy of customers. Even recently in India, the barcode that is in Google payment, every shop you can see that some barcode sticker will be placed. The cyber attackers, they remove their sticker and they put their own sticker, and the money transferred to their account instead of the customer's account. The cost of securing customers' data and digital finance channels can exceed the cost of offering digital financial services and can have a serious implications for the efficiency and the profitability of digital finance providers. Because of the digital finance providers are private parties, they expect some profit, but the cost effective of offering the services sometimes may be charged on the head of the customers. The cyber attackers, the customer awareness that their data is prone to cyber attacker can make customers lose trust in digital channels. Even the educated people, sometimes they lose money because of the cyber attackers. Sometimes online transactions, you can come across these kind of issues in the almost irrespective of the awareness, irrespective of the education level, and irrespective of their geographical locations, the hackers attack the financial transaction in the digital financial services that will hinder the development of or to want to participate in digital finance because of the data security concern. The forced financial inclusion, that was especially in 2014, the government of India, they compelled all the people to have the banking system, and later for a transaction, if you have a physical transaction in the traditional banking system, for direct transaction, they are charging some kind of charges for transferring funds from one account to another account. They indirectly compelled the customer to go for a digital platform to transfer the funds, where they can transfer funds at free of cost, irrespective of the their amount and the number of transactions and other aspects. The regulators can use their legal powers and force the financial inclusion of the on the population. Consequences of such action, that population, the people take to refuse that platform to take the financial transaction. Some poor individuals, that is unbanked population, may voluntarily refuse to participate in the financial system because of they voluntarily don't want to deal directly with banks, internets, and companies. Their lack of awareness and benefits of digital finances, they do not have good credit score obtained to a loan and other facilities from the banks. The lack of education and other lack of education about benefits and risk of digital finance. Some communities, they have communal problem to participate in the online digital finance system. That is one of the barriers in the uneducated and rural people, among the rural people. Then voluntary finance, that is digital financial exclusion problem, can be greater in countries that experience frequent banking crisis. Subsequently, the bank gets crisis, financial crisis, and their online fraud and financial fraud, and sometimes like the issues of big businessmen, they escaped from repayment of loans. This kind of information news that affect the people to have a formal banking accounts and digital finance in the new era. The difference in income level can lead to disproportionate benefits in the financial inclusion. That means the poor people, they may not have some kind of benefits, and they offer the benefits for frequent users. This kind of behavior and approach that will affect the digital financial inclusion programs. There are three indicators of financial inclusion, that is ownership of banks and the benefits out of the individual, how they are getting from the formal accounts, and other aspects, the digital financial system. So these three aspects that will affect the performance of these aspects will affect the financial inclusion program of the country. And non-market barriers to competition is a risk, and that need to be addressed if the digital finance can be provided to the poor profitable by profit providers. These kind of risks can be existing in the digital finance system, and that has to be addressed to overcome the problem of digital finance. And the risk in digital finance includes the lack of quality of connectivity, the broadband access and network access, and security problem. The people are not come forward to access the digital finance because of they are the ultimate loser of the amount. Once they lose amount, sometimes they may not have the remedy to recover the amount from the banking system. And the agency problem, especially the principally all the banks, they devoted majority of the activities, that is recovery of loans, management of NPA, and other key services to the private agencies. That agencies continuously disturb the poor people to maximize the profit in the digital financial system. And digital finance providers can make huge profit to increase their non-salary income. Yes, I already told you that 34% of the banking profit they have realized only from the fees and penalty of the customers to use the digital financial services. The credit score, yes, recently, if you approach the banks for any loan and other overdraft facilities, they tell you about the credit score and the credit score risk. Sometimes it arises because of the digital financial transactions, and this will hinder the customers to use the that is digital finance system, and they feel better to use the conventional banking system to reduce this kind of confusion in the intermediation level. And operate through online platform requires access to internet and financial services that mainstream, that is without the platform it cannot be performed. But the financial technology providers fails to take into account of access to internet is not universal, and factors such as income, age, education, politics, geographical differences also influence the individual to access the internet banking system. And another issue that the financial technology providers does not necessarily eliminate the problem of discriminatory lending. That means whenever the people are losing their money, these agencies, they are not come forward to address their problem and to give some the privileged treatment to the customer. That is one of the issues. And the other issues is that the banking system does not necessarily to access the bank system is cheap for poor and low income people. It's costly one. Even the debit card holders, if they withdraw money more than 5 times, they will be charged. That is, the huge amount will be charged as a fine. Because of that, the people are not ready to have a the credit card, debit card, and other net banking system, digital financial platform, because of this kind of confusions and that is the cheating behavior of the financial services providers. And recently, the cryptocurrencies takes place in worldwide, and everyone started to talk about the cryptocurrencies. And the cryptocurrencies already Sai Mohini Madam explained that it's a blockchain concept, and even the educated people, they are unaware of the working style of the cryptocurrencies, and even then people are still investing on cryptocurrency system. That is one of the digital financial system, and it has its own implication like the volatility. Last month, if you see that the value of cryptocurrency, that is Bitcoin value, that declined more than 50%, and it deflates. That's one of the implications in cryptocurrencies, and problematic for macroeconomic stability. So cryptocurrencies, the traditional currencies in the country, it is regulated and monitored by a government or the agency exclusively appointed to monitor the finance and the banking system. But these cryptocurrencies, it's out of the control of the country. Because of that, affect the stability of the economic aspect of a country. The tax evasion is one of the implications of allowing this cryptocurrency. And recently, our finance ministers announced some kind of taxes will be levied on the cryptocurrency transaction. And before that, it was not possible to tax on the cryptocurrency transaction. And the cryptocurrency transaction, they use the illegal business like smuggling and other illegal trade activities. That is one of the implications of this cryptocurrency system. And the technology, the updated technology has to be adapted for each digital financial transaction. But we may not know, and the even technicians, they have not have a thorough technical aspects of the cryptocurrencies and their technological aspects. Then the authentication, even in every country, the currency is authenticated by some agencies, but regarding the cryptocurrencies, we don't have any authentication for the cryptocurrencies and its value. And law enforcement is again it's a difficult aspects, because of someone is operating from somewhere in the world, and they are regulating the transaction. These are some kind of implications which I want to tell you in these situations, because of the cryptocurrency transaction is one of the emerging aspects in the financial field in our country. So with this, I conclude my speech, and thank you for the patient listening, my dear participants. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
sir. Thank you for enlightening us with the information from the user's perspective, how digital transformation impacts in the form of use of digital finance with the users, means how they are having issues and challenges with digital finance. So we have seen, various how SAP application and ERP has been used in the process of converting the financial data into digital form and its applications. Our Mr. Sabyasachi Das has enlightened us with all the information how various SAP modules are being used, and the recent implemented modules also he has given various application oriented technicality with various technical levels, functional levels and technical levels, how the data is getting transferred into digital form, and it gives us more accuracy and more faster accessibility and security regions. It has we have seen in digital transformation. And from the user's perspective, the digital transformation which leads to digital finance. As a end user of these financial services, now we have moved from paper currency, paper money, to plastic cards. From plastic cards, we have moved to mobile money. And now from mobile money, we are moving to digital currencies, which sir was talking about cryptocurrencies. So there are many issues and challenges are also related to this, do exist in the market. And now we are going to have our question answer session, but due to sort of time, I am not able to take up the complete question answers to our resource persons, but the major questions I would pick up the questions. Only few questions will be able to address, will be addressed by our resource persons. So I request Mr. Sabyasachi Das and Dr. A. Velangini Joseph to take up the questions. So I will read on behalf of the participants. So we have seen, as Dr. A. Velangini Joseph has already spoken about financial inclusion and digital finance, which leads to financial inclusion. It is a two-way causality where digital finance lead to financial inclusion, and in return digital our financial inclusion also lead to digital finance. But one way we feel that because of financial illiteracy, the poor people are getting into a debt trap. The poor people are not able to utilize the available finance. They are getting into a debt trap. So how to overcome that, and what is your opinion on that?
Yes, madam. Nice question. The thing is, no banks come forward to educate people regarding the financial technology platform. So, majority of the digital financial transaction, which takes place only people having a basic literacy level, and that too the higher education knowledge holders only takes place in the digital financial platform. The others, majority of the people in the country are rural based and poor literacy level. So due to this, they are not able to understand how the transactions takes place. In the traditional banking system, they physically see the money they physically see the other transaction which takes place in the banking system. But in digital finance, you cannot see any the process, the backend process which takes place in the online platform. Because of this, the people are worrying about to participate in the digital financial system.
Yes, sir. Sir, one way we are talking about economic development,
Yes.
where we talk about increasing the consumption. Then we actually impose on household consumption, how to increase the household consumption so that it will lead to economic development in turn. But on the other side, we are talking about the debt, where the poor people are getting into the debt trap. So one way we are talking about increasing the consumption, and other way we are talking about controlling the debt. So what are the various methods we can adapt to have even we talk about high class or middle class or lower class, even middle class people. Now I have gone through few of the research papers which shows that 1%, it gives an evidence that 1% increase in income that leads to 4 to 5 percentage increase in consumption. So even a middle class person who is having a financial literacy but still is getting into a debt trap.
Yes.
So one of the popular research paper which I had gone through, it shows that the persons, when the income increases, the consumption level increases more than the saving level.
Yes,
so this is a two-way sword, I can say, how to manage that from the middle class perspective.
Yes, madam. You are rightly pointed out the consumption pattern. Then after introducing the digital platform and online marketing system, the consumption level has been increased because of in order to avail the discount and alternative gift, they are opted for purchasing new product. The traditional system, we physically go to the shop and pick up what they need. But in the modern system, especially in the online platform, you can see that traders, if you wish to purchase one product, they post you several products which will be complement to purchase the other product. Because of this only, the consumption pattern has also been increased in the recent past, especially during the lockdown period. All the people invariably they tend to use the online platform, where they gain more benefits because of the discount rate and compliment and other offer. They get addicted into the consumption pattern. Because of that only, the consumption pattern has been increased and the savings has been reduced.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. I would like to ask few questions from the participant to Sabyasachi, sir. Sir, our students have raised one question, whether a startup business, small businesses can afford to go for implementing ERP.
Thanks, Mohini. Yes, the startups and the small business can go with the SAP implementation, and SAP has the specific product related to the small scale industry and MSME startups, that is called SAP Business One. They can go for it.
Okay, sir.
And,
sir, one more question.
and 1 second, they
Yes,
did
sir.
not to spend much money in the infrastructure. They just use the license and they can start the access of the SAP Business One.
Okay. Okay, sir. So since it is a very costly affair that too much of infrastructure and cost is involved, now during this COVID pandemic, all the organizations who have implemented this SAP ERP, what impact they had?
Yes, with the help of the cloud infrastructures that give the immense opportunity to the businesses to work on the SAP anywhere in the India or anywhere of the world. So they can access their SAP application in the laptop also. They can access the SAP application in desktop, and it also gives the opportunity to access your data in the mobiles. So if you want to give any means approve any leave application, approve any the purchase requisition, purchase order requisition, if you approve any payments to the vendors, you can access all the information in mobiles, tabs, This with the cloud infrastructure, it will give the opportunity to and endless possibility to integrate and visualize the data in any part of the countries or any part of the world.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, one more query from one of our student that our retail giants, what kind of ERP they usually go for?
Yes. So for retail industries, SAP has developed SAP POS, point of sales, which is specifically designed for the retail industry, just like your fashion and apparel industries, your means the means malls related, means your day-to-day grocery related activities. For that, SAP implemented SAP retail POS.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the answers. And now it gives me immense pleasure to propose a vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to I would like to express my deep gratitude to our speakers, Mr. Sabyasachi Das and Dr. Velangini Joseph for accepting our invitation and coming over to this webinar, making this very insightful and fruitful. And thank you, sir. Thank you for contributing your time and efforts. It's my privilege to thank our President, Dr. Viswajit Patnaik, Vice Chancellor Kalyan Sankar Ray, and Pro Vice Chancellor Dr. Falgu Niranjana for their continuous support and encouragement. I would like to thank to the webinar team, Research and Development Cell, IT Cell, and Placement Cell for their support and encouragement. Finally, I would like to thank all my faculty colleagues and my staff for helping me throughout the webinar. And I also like to thank the participants and students for making this webinar a very fruitful one. Thank you one and all. Thank you for your presence.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Mohini. I'm dropping off of this call.